Hey there folks, it's Javier Block 208 coming to you live with another video. I just got through watching Kamala Harris's acceptance speech for the nomination, and I just wanted to give you guys some takeaways from it that I heard. And so basically, for the first things first, is I'm going to say something that I'm going to say that I've heard something. I'm going to tell you all right now that I've heard something that I've never heard a Democrat say before in my life. And I am actually very, very amazed and impressed by this. I've never heard a Democrat use the word tax cut before. And in my entire life, Republicans, they love to say that Democrats are going to raise your taxes, raise your taxes, raise your taxes. This is a lie. This is a partial lie. And let me explain this. Tax brackets are a thing that makes sense. Okay, the more you earn, the more you pay. The less you earn, the less you pay. So Kamala Harris, at her nomination acceptance speech tonight, directly promised a tax cut. Yes, she directly promised a tax cut for people in the poor and middle class. And I heard that and my mind was blown. I'm like, I've never in my life heard a Democrat use the word tax cut before. And she directly promised to cut taxes for people in the poor and middle class. And this is something that we should all be reminded. We should be reminded of when it comes to like the Democratic Party and the real truth about it. You know, the truth about the Democratic Party is that the Democratic Party's big thing is fighting for the poor and middle class. And the thing about Republicans is saying, oh, look, the Democrats just want to raise your taxes, raise your taxes, raise your taxes. That's what Donald Trump says. You know, it's like, she's going to raise your taxes and raise your taxes. That doesn't apply to all people. That doesn't apply to the poor and underclass. Kamala Harris and most Democrats are desire to fight. Most Democrats who actually care about the people, let me rephrase that, who are actually fighting for cutting taxes for the poor and middle class. And she directly said that at her acceptance speech tonight. And, you know, that's going to save people so much money, honestly. Imagine people in underclass working 2 jobs, trying to raise a family, et cetera, you know, and people are going to have, and then Kamala Harris is going to cut their taxes. And that's going to save them a lot of money, you know, honestly. It's going to be more money on their paycheck, more money to support their families, more money for everything, you know. And, you know, it's like at the end of the day, the only people the taxes are going to be, you know, higher on are the wealthy. But for the poorer people, taxes are going to be cut and they're going to be lower. And that's awesome news. That's amazing. Another takeaway I want to give to you guys about this speech is that she promised to sign a border bill that Donald Trump, that was rejected by Republicans, a bipartisan border bill enacted by both Democrats and Republicans that Donald Trump rejected because he wanted to make his legacy look good. And so we're getting down to some policy here. So at the end of the day, you know, it's like she wants to cut taxes for the poor and middle class. She wants to take action to secure our border. And that's great news. I think that's amazing. You know, this is just slashing the lies that Republicans are telling about her. And she promised to sign that border bill that's gonna help to secure our border. And it was a bill that both Republicans and Democrats wanted to pass. Trump rejected it because it wouldn't make him look good, because it would make Democrats look good and all that. Trump probably also rejected it because he wants to keep lying that Democrats don't care about the border and millions of illegals are coming in and all that. And she promised to bring that bill back and she's going to get that signed. So bravo for her. Another takeaway I want to get from this election this convention is that she's going to sign that John Lewis Voting Rights Act to make sure we have safe and secure elections. And I have to say, I'm very impressed with that. And you know, honestly, I do believe that common sense Republicans are going to join with Democrats in getting that bill passed and getting it signed. And this is just a whole thing of like, how much bipartisanship can we do? Can bipartisanship like work on both sides? Like, can both sides come together under an agreement to get a bill signed and passed? And that's awesome. She also reconfirmed her commitment to, so yeah, let's that the whole border thing that I just mentioned, like, she's going to work to secure a border. I mean, she wants to get that border bill signed to work to get our border secure. And she's not playing politics with this like Donald Trump is. She actually wants to get this done, and Donald Trump is lying to you about it. So these are her policies. And she also promised that she's always going to defend Israel's right to defend itself, to fight for Israel's right to defend itself. So she wants to promise to be pro-Israel. So those are 4 key things: cutting taxes for the poor and middle class, securing our border, getting the Voting Rights Act signed, and defending the sovereignty of Israel. And, honestly, and her husband's Jewish. I don't know why Trump is saying, oh, she's never going to snap. Democrats hate Jews and all that. Her husband's Jewish. So, 4 key policies I heard tonight at the convention, and I'm very, very, have to say I'm impressed. Anyway, just some thoughts. She wants to, some other things that she mentioned, not at the convention, but other events is that she wants to, get, housing, I wrote this a couple of days ago. This was from a rally she did where she talked about some of her economic plans. Because I remember I was talking to you guys about how, Trump made his plans clear, but Kamala never really made her plans clear. Well, it looks like she's finally doing it. So this was what I wrote on August 16th. Obviously, this was a little over a week ago. Kamala's speech on making housing more affordable for poor and low-income Americans and taking out high-priced investors who are intentionally hurting low-income Americans by buying tons of houses and selling them for extremely high prices is golden. Housing must be made affordable for low-income Americans. This is a fight for affordable rent, housing costs for underclass American people. So this is golden. She wants to, one thing about Kamala is that she actually is trying to fight, she's fighting and taking on like high-priced investors and wealthy investors and fighting to make housing more affordable for people. So more people can buy housing, so more low-income Americans can buy houses, and so more low-income Americans can rent. So, the big thing is she's taking on the inflation. She has plans to take on the inflation on housing and rent. And I talked about this a couple of weeks ago. It's like the inflation, we know the prices are going up everywhere, food, rent, everything. But the big thing is rent, because without rent, people have nowhere to live. People need to be able to buy their houses. Families need to be able to buy houses. Families need to be able to rent. People need to be able to rent. And the cost of rent is going higher and higher and higher. I personally know because of the place I rent. It was over $1,000 just dumping right on the first thing, and that was in cheap Provo, Utah. But she's making goals to take on investors who are buying, wealthy investors who are buying houses and selling them or renting them for extremely high cost. She's taking them on to make housing and renting more affordable and to lower the cost of that for working people and families. So she's doing that. She cares about the border. She wants to get that border bill signed. She cares about taking on investors and making housing and renting more affordable. She will fight for Israel. She'll get the Voting Rights Act signed. And she will cut taxes for the poor and middle class. These are golden policies for Kamala Harris. Now, a little bit about her history is that she actually was very much involved in the civil rights movement. She actually really spent a lot of her career, fighting for civil rights and fighting for people. and this was something she was passionate about her whole life. Like when she's seen somebody like being bullied or whatever, she's gonna stay. She's the kind that's gonna like stand up to bullies, and like I guess Trump is viewed as like a national bully or something. I don't view him as that, but I mean, yeah, in some ways he is. He really is. But hey, folks, these are just some things, very key things for Camilla, and like I said, my decision is not entirely made yet, but these are just some interesting things about her that she's gonna fight for in her upcoming administration should she win this election. Anyways, hang on one second.
Pass a middle class tax cut that will benefit